What's up, YouTube? My name is Vic. I'm the Brooklyn Watch Guy, and if it's your first time on this channel, my channel is all about watch buying, collecting, unboxings, and reviews in the affordable range, which I define as $1,000 or less. If you're into that kind of stuff, I invite you to stick around, watch the video. If you like it, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you know every time I put a new video up. Alright, so today's video is going to be kind of a review, kind of a opinion video. We're going to be taking a look at these two guys right here. These are the two of the Timex, of the PacMan watch offerings. One from Timex, one from Casio. I am going to talk about the Timex T80 because even though I do not have one here, I did own one. I sold it off. But I did have one for a little bit of time, so I feel like, yeah, I can talk about it. I'm qualified. You know, I did own it. I wore it. And I could talk about the watch. So we're going to talk about these three watches, and we'll determine which of these watches, if you're a PacMan lover, is the one that you should spend your money on. So without further delay, let's get into this. All right, folks. So here we have two of the Timex watches. This is the Weekender. I keep saying Timex. The two of the PacMan watch offerings. So anyway, this is the Weekender PacMan from Timex. This is the most affordable of the three that we're going to be talking about today. And this one here, this is the Casio version. This is the, well, it's just called the Casio PACMan, but it's based on an A100. It is an A100. It's the same module inside. And I think that's what really sets this one back a lot. And the third one that we're going to talk about today, I don't actually have here. But like I said in the introduction, I did own one. And that's the T80 PACMan. And we're going to get into these watches. So the Weekender 38 millimeter case. Here's the bad part about this watch. Because it's so affordable, this is a brass case. It's silver coated or silver toned or whatever you call it, but it's a brass case. And the problem with that is that it's not a very durable material, especially when you talk about watches. You know, watches, they get beat up when people wear them. They get banged into things and stuff. And brass tends to be a pretty soft material when you compare it to stainless steel or, you know, other materials that watches tend to be made of. So that's really what holds this one back a lot to me. But then again, this watch can regularly be found for under $50. So at that price, I mean, really, you really can't get too picky. Indiglo dial, backlit dial, and looks awesome, looks amazing. The hands on this are actually lume too. They're not really that bright though, but you do get some lume. 30 meters of water resistance and a mineral crystal. Press the case back. Little details there, a little bit of PacMan graphics and stuff. 20 millimeter lugs with this. It comes with a genuine leather band, which I believe is 20 millimeters. So you can change this out. It actually, though, for it being a genuine leather band, doesn't feel that bad. It's actually pretty decent. How it holds up over time, that's another story. But yeah, so this is the Weekender PacMan. Now we're gonna talk about the T80, which I don't have, but I'll put one up here on the screen. And that one comes in 34 millimeter case, and is and is made from resin. So the actual case itself is a resin case. It's painted to look like metal, but it's not. So yeah, it's a resin case with an acrylic lens. The bracelet itself is stainless steel with a 18 millimeter width. So with that module on the T80, you get 24-hour time, you get a chronograph, you get an alarm calendar. Also has in the glow, very easy to see in the dark. You get, and as a bonus, I don't remember which button it was, but when you pressed it and you held it down, it played the PacMan theme music, which was awesome. I used to play the hell out of that all the time. It would annoy people, but I don't know, I used to get a kick out of it. And the thing about that one is you can find it regularly between $60 to $70. Amazon, eBay. You know, those are the places I usually shop for my watches. Probably most people do. One thing I didn't like about it is that, its size. To me, it was its size. It was just too small for a guy my size. Maybe if you're on the smaller side of things, it'll look better on you. But it was just way too small for me. And for that, even my wrists are not huge. It looked lost on me. So that's why I didn't wear it a whole lot, and I ended up selling it away because it was just way too small for me. And the bracelet was also a little bit of a hair puller. Not that bad. Not like the Timex Q. That thing was a lot worse pulling hair. But the T80 PacMan also did pull a little bit of my hair. But that other than that, it really wasn't a horrible watch. It was just for me, it was just way too small, and I just didn't like wearing it because of that. So with that, let's get into this one. This is the weekender. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. My bad, guys. This is the Casio PacMan. Now, what Casio did, this is basically, not basically, it is just the Casio A100. The Casio A100 module has been around for a long time, and they didn't do anything to it other than, making it pretty, which is really all they did. They made it pretty. I'll give them that. It's attractive. But, it's really, really basic. So 32 millimeters. It's weird because it feels bigger because this is 32 by 40. The Timex T80 was much smaller. It didn't have this bottom piece. So it was probably about like up to probably like cut off right where that first row of buttons ends. It's probably where it would cut off. It was just really small. This one wears a little bigger, even though it's actually a little smaller in diameter, but it just wears a little bigger. It's strange how that works out sometimes. But material-wise, it's the same thing as the T80. This is a resin case. It's just painted to look like metal, but it's not metal. The case itself is resin. The band is stainless steel, and what they did with this band was, you see, it's got the graphic of the Timex. Sorry about that, but of the Timex stage. And what they did was, when they printed this on, they ion plated it. So that means that this is it's pretty durable. It's not gonna wear off easily. It's gonna stand up over time to normal wear and tear. That's basically what ion plating does. It just makes the material a little more durable. So that's what they did with this. When they painted this graphic on, they painted the band black, and they ion coated it. Which, okay, that's pretty good. So that means that you'll have this for a while. Won't wear off, won't rub off. It should be a little scratch resistant. I don't know how scratch resistant it'll be, but it will stand up. Normal wear and tear. It should hold up for a while. Also, the backplate on this is also really, really nice. A little bit better than the Weekender. I honestly don't remember what the T80's backplate was. I don't recall it having any kind of stage or anything. I think it just had the Pac-Man and Timex logo on it, if I remember correctly. But I honestly can't. I don't recall too well. So this is where we start getting into the things I don't like about this watch. You don't get 24-hour time with this, because the Casio A100 module does not have 24-hour time. So if you're someone like me, who I'm a military veteran, I'm used to 24-hour time. That's what I function with. It's what my current career, what we use, 24-hour time. So I can't set this on that, and it bothers me. And I know that's probably very, very minor to some of you guys, but it's just like, when you're used to something for so long, it's really hard to get away from it, and that's the problem I have. So a lot of times this just sits in my watch box. I don't wear it often. Another issue I have with it is because of its size. It's really hard for a guy. You see how my fingers are. I can easily fat finger this thing, and when I want to hit the backlight, which is this button here, it won't show very well on my camera, but sometimes when I want to hit the backlight, I end up hitting the bottom button, or I won't hit them at all. So because it's so small, it's a little hard to set and program and stuff. You don't have any side buttons, like the Timex does. All the buttons are done. All the settings and stuff are done with these 4 buttons right here. So it is a negative display. The backlight's actually decent. And to me, it would be the best one if in terms of legibility in the dark, it would be the better of the three. But because it's so small, I think a lot of people will have the same problem I have with it, that you won't actually fully press the backlight button, or you'll end up hitting one of the other buttons, or you won't make great contact with it at all. That's the problem that I constantly have with it. Another thing about this watch is it's the most expensive. This watch, the cheapest I found it is about $100. I've seen it up to 120, 130, which I think is crazy, because the regular A100 is about a $60, $70 watch, and I still think that's a lot for that watch. Um, it doesn't give you much information about water resistance, only that it's splash proof. So the two Timex watches both give you 30 meters of water resistance, about 100 feet. I wouldn't go swimming in either one of these watches, but it's good to know in case things happen. Sometimes you do things you don't think, and you may go to the beach one day and forget to take your watch off. Well, if you're wearing the two Timex watches, you should be okay. If you're wearing this watch, you may be iced out. You may be out $100 watch. So with that said, let's see how they stack up against each other. So these are all my opinions, and when I think when it comes to the best looking, I think hands down that goes to the Weekender PacMan. I just think this one's really well executed. It's a really nice looking watch. The way the hands work with the dial, I just think that was really creative. That was just really, really well done. Casio did a great. I'm sorry, Timex did a great job with this watch. Um, the most solidly built, I would give that one to the T80. I just, when I did have that watch, I just did feel it was a better built watch. Most comfort, definitely this one, the Weekender, just because it has a leather band, and these bracelets, and the one on the T80 is the same. They just tend to pull too much hair. I'm a hairy guy. So if it moves around too much, you're gonna feel those little pulls, and just gets annoying after a while. The easiest to use, definitely this one. All you got to do is pull the crown, set it, and that's it. You want to see the time, you just push it in, you get the backlight and the glow. Don't get no easier than that. Easiest to read in the dark. That one I would have to say, if it weren't for the way that the layout is, and this the size of the buttons, it would have been the Casio. But I have to give that to the T80, because it was just way easier to operate because of the way the buttons were set up. It's a small watch, but it was easy to use. This one, it's a small watch, but because of the way they do the buttons, it's just a little bit cumbersome. Most of the times when you need to see your backlight, you're in a dark environment, so you can't really just look down and see the watch body itself. And what you do end up doing is you're pressing something in the dark. You don't really get a good feel for it. And next thing you know, when you get some light, you have your hours flashing like you're in the setup mode. And I run into that problem a lot of times because it's so small. Um, so with that, guys and girls, let me give you my final thoughts. So overall, folks, I think these watches, they're all cool. They're all fun in their own respect. I don't hate particularly either one of them. I guess the one I disliked the most was the T80, because that's the one I didn't hold on to. Um, I just believe that, in my opinion, the two options from Timex are the better of the two. Those are the ones that you should probably look at buying. Uh, like I said, Casio, to me, all they really did was just make it pretty. They didn't give the module anything. They didn't. Um, One thing I forgot to mention, I don't remember if I did or not, but the T80 PacMan plays the music. It plays PacMan music. They could have did that with this. That's something you could program into the module. Um, they didn't even do that. They just made it pretty. They threw a skin on it, and they jacked up the price. I don't appreciate that. Make it worthwhile. Make it worth my while to invest money in that piece. And look, these watches are not crazy expensive. They're the most expensive one is the Casio. We're talking, I said, on average, $125, right? Average. That's the price you're gonna see. Um, but still, $125 is a lot of money when you don't make a lot of money. So, uh, I just believe that the T80 would be the better way to go. That one on average $60 to $70. You can find it eBay, Amazon. But if you want the most bang for your buck, I really believe you can't go wrong with the Weekender. This is the one that I really just I like the most. I think it's the most attractive. You can get away with it wearing it in a formal situation as long as nobody pays attention to the dial. And even then, when people do notice it, it's a conversation starter. You know, I'm approaching 40 years old, and people in my age group, we played the shit out of Pac-Man growing up. So it's something that people see it and it's like, wow, where'd you get that? You know, and it just leads to a conversation. And it's pretty cool, man, because you don't realize how much you can connect with somebody until you bring up something from the past, something nostalgic. And it's cool. I really enjoy that about that watch. So like I said, ladies and gents, if it were up to me, I would go with the Timex Weekender first, and I would go with the T80 second, and I would place the Casio last. To me, all they did was throw a skin on it, on the A100, and think that would be enough. It's not in my opinion. And honestly, it's in my watch box. I don't know what to do with it. I don't wear it that much. I may end up selling it at some point. Who knows? So with that, ladies and gents, I promise I got more content coming down the line. I will see you on my next one. Peace. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic, the Brooklyn Watch Guy. If you like my videos, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know every time I put new content up. Peace.